Hello everyone and welcome to the Homepage Network. I'm Johanna Vogt. It's the end of the month, but if you do not know, May is Asian Pacific Islander American Heritage Month. America is incredibly blessed to have cultures and ethnicities from all over the world. Through diversity, we can learn, grow, and encourage one another in our differences and life experiences. With me today is Sarah Hart, who will be speaking to us about her experiences and values from being an Asian American in Wellsboro, Pennsylvania. Sarah, thank you so much for being with me today.
Thank you. It's glad to be here.
Sarah, tell me a little bit about your background. Where were you born? Where did you grow up?
Sure. So at 10 months old, I was adopted from Xinhui, China, which is in the Guangzhou province in southeast China. So obviously I don't remember very much, but I do know that I was found on some museum stairs, and then I was taken to my orphanage. And then 10 months later, I was adopted by my parents, Heidi and Brian. They have been so lovely and so amazing. My first memories probably come from when I moved to Delaware. So right after I was adopted, my parents lived in Delaware. And I moved there, and I just remember having the best childhood. We lived in a kind of a cute, comfy house, and I grew up there just having a great time. I was babysat by all my close family when my parents were working. And when I was 3, I was actually blessed to have my sister come home. My sister is also adopted from China, and she was adopted at 1 year old. And her name is Maggie, and she's very lovely. She's actually 18 now, and she is graduating high school.
That's wonderful.
So yeah, so I was in Delaware until I was 8 years old, and then we moved to Wellsboro. My family were just kind of tired of living in the suburbs of Delaware, so we wanted to go somewhere that was a bit more open, less hectic. My mother actually started a little hobby farm. She makes soap, and now we still have goats and chickens and all of that fun stuff. I think that growing up in Wellsboro has been a really amazing experience. Not only growing up on a farm, but also just getting to know the people here in a small town, getting to know the small town values that I have now. It's been really great. So I graduated Wellsboro Area High School in 2018, and then I actually went to Bryn Mawr College, which is near Philly. But actually, I was there for a semester and I liked it, but it just actually wasn't for me. So after my first semester, I transferred to Mansfield, and that's where I am now. I currently just finished my junior year. I'm majoring in business administration with a minor in professional writing. And I really feel like Mansfield has given me a lot of opportunities. And this summer, I'm actually starting a virtual internship with Bloomberg. I'm doing that from home, and that's really exciting. Bloomberg's values are very geared towards diversity, and diversity in both in race, ethnicity, gender, and in thought. So I'm very excited. I'll be home, which is great. I love home, but maybe after I graduate, I'll be willing to venture out to different areas or move to different places to see what else is out there.
That's awesome. So many opportunities.
Thank you. Yeah, it's really exciting. When I think about my future, I just think about how many doors I have open, you know, what challenges I can overcome, and what it'll take to get there.
So from growing up as a child to now, are there things that you value more or are proud of being an Asian American?
Of course, I love being different, and not necessarily, not only does my race make me different, but just I feel like having that background, knowing that I came from a different place than everyone else is very special. I feel like I have something that I can hold really close to me. I also know that even though I love my birth parents, I feel like my adopted parents are just my parents. Yeah. So I think that it's really neat to kind of think about how my biological parents, I'm sure they love me very much over in China, but thinking about how I have this family that I've always known that just appreciate me and love me for me is really incredible.
That's awesome. Well, when we come back, Sarah will talk to us about some of her life experience and what she hopes she and others will learn moving towards the future. Stay with us.
Enjoy breakfast, lunch, and dinner at Red Skillet in Wellsboro, PA. Locally roasted coffee, homemade pastries, market fresh grab-and-go, smoothies, delectable salads, and the best fries this side of the moon. There's a myriad of beverages including specialty drinks and cocktails, ice-cold beer on tap. Red Skillet menu selections bring delight to everyone. Dinner at Red Skillet is beyond incredible. Try their strawberry spinach salad, Norwegian salmon, or red knot Thai chicken. Then bring your dinner to a perfect ending with one of Red Skillet's famous desserts, like their amazing coconut cake. There's plenty of seating both inside and outside. Catering services are also available. Fresh ingredients and contemporary classic cuisine. Red Skillet, 104 Main Street, Wellsboro.
Welcome back, and thank you for supporting our homepage family of advertisers. Sarah, tell me some of the challenges that you have faced as an Asian American woman.
Sure. Actually, a lot of the challenges that I faced were when I was growing up. I grew up in Delaware, and actually I found that in more urban areas, I've faced more racism, actually. When I was growing up, people would, make fun of my eyes or just being Asian in general, and I would come home really sad, crying, and I just didn't understand why people would pick on me for something like that. It made me really sad, and when I went to school near Philadelphia, one time I was at a museum and a security guard came up to me and I was talking about a painting and he said, "Wow, you speak really good English." And I was just so surprised because I forgot that people may assume that I don't speak English that well or just Chinese or another Asian language just because, how I look.
Right.
So that was kind of a shock to me. I've also faced some kind of adversity from other Chinese people who were born in China, and they don't understand how I was adopted and how I don't speak fluent Chinese. So there's a couple different, there's a few different ways that Asians face adversity and racism, and it's different for every single person. It's based on where they're from, where they are now, what language they speak, were they adopted, were they from that country, are they second generation Americans who they weren't born in an Asian country but their parents were. It's different for every person and it's a different case for everyone. So I think that the case is different for everyone, but it is good to raise awareness because everyone, even though they're different and they have different circumstances, they are all Asian and they probably do face some similar adversities. So it's good to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. On the other hand, what are some of the opportunities or joys that you have faced as an Asian American woman?
Sure. So every summer for, the first few summers of my life and a couple summers ago, I actually met up with my reunion family. Wow. So all of the girls that were adopted with me in China have kind of kept in touch since then. Our families have kept in touch until, we were able to kind of communicate together. And then we have a group chat together and we just like to see what each other's doing. We send each other Christmas cards. So that's really special. Coming together like that is just something that can't be replicated. Another thing is just being able to talk to others like me. Yeah. For those that are born in China or just who are just Chinese in general, I always feel like I'm more connected to them in some way. There's like this second level of bonding that I feel like we have together. And even though I'm not, I didn't grow up in a Chinese household, when I do meet Chinese people, I love to learn about their cultures. And I feel very connected to it because that's where I originally came from. So in the future, I would love to continue learning about Chinese culture, eventually go there. When I was younger, I actually learned Chinese at a Chinese school, so that was a benefit of being in a more urban area. Yeah. Once I moved here, I didn't have that opportunity, but I hope to. I hope to learn more about the language and the culture and eventually go there.
Absolutely. So moving towards the future, what are some of the things that you hope that you will learn and hope that other people will learn as well?
Sure. I would just like to say that people should realize that everyone is a person and no matter what you look like, we all have feelings that can be easily damaged by what other people say. So Asian Americans are incredibly hard workers, and often they keep to themselves. They're usually very reserved people, which makes them an easier target when they, whether it be to COVID because the virus originated in China, or whether it be because they don't have the guts to stand up for themselves. Asians in the past, because they're so reserved, they've been less likely to speak out. They've been less likely to fight for themselves when they needed to. If Asians have also been not represented well in the media, in TV shows, the Asian is usually just the smart one who maybe makes some jokes sometimes to make people laugh, or maybe just the smart ones who serve that purpose. And I think that going forward, I would love to see more Asians in media and on TV and in movies. I think that would be really great.
Yeah, it's so different when you see someone on camera or on television that looks like you.
Right,
yeah.
right. It's something that really shapes you growing up. You don't realize it when you're growing up, but I remember when I was a kid, I always identified with the Asian one.
Yeah.
Like I remember I loved to play with Bratz dolls, and Jade, she was the only Asian one, and I was always, okay, I'm Jade. Or American Girl dolls.
Yeah.
There was a girl named Ivy, and I always got the Ivy doll.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like Asian children should have more than just one character and a set of characters that represents them. And I think it'll give them a lot of inspiration for in the future when they want to go out and do great things.
Well, thank you so much, Sarah, for being with me today.
Thank you for having me. It was a lovely time.
I hope this story has been inspiring and educating for all of our homepage viewers. Celebrating everyone in their differences, similarities, and uniqueness is something we find to be very important. Thank you for joining us on the Homepage Network.
Hi, I'm Julian.
And I'm Anya.
People come to us for puzzles, Pennsylvania wooden toys, art kits, and games, but mostly for shared experiences.
We sell games because when people share an experience, it builds relationships and builds community.
So come in for a board game, and whether you end up settling Catan, growing a forest, or building train lines, you will end up telling a story together.
One you may never forget.